being sad alone doesn't mean that you're depressed. That is why it is not advisable to keep on using these words, trauma, depressed, because could cause a misconception. That is why I normally advise that rather use words that describe how you feel at that time. And let's leave these words for the doctors, So you find that most times after that meditation, immediately after that meditation, I start having ideas and the solutions. So now when I want to do something, I just make that meditation about that. So I do the breathing practices, but my thoughts are about affirming. So I basically plan whatever I want to do in this relaxation mode.
Welcome to the next thing that's gonna blow up. Thank you very much for joining us again for yet another fire episode. And guys, the love that you've been showing on the last episode, it's been fire. The comments, you guys are amazing. But today I want you to do a special thing for me. Could you kindly, this is me being humble, could you kindly go in the comment section and type in I have subscribed when you do subscribe, because I want to get to know you guys. I want to be able to communicate with you. So when you type I have subscribed, I will be DMing you on the comment section. So please ensure that you do that and keep the love coming. Please like, comment, and share so that it motivates us to keep on creating more content for you guys. But today we have another fire guest. Guys, I've been conversing with this person right before this recording, and every time I was like, please pause, we want this to be on the camera. We're like, no, wait, stop that flow of thought, let's get it on the camera, because the person is fire. And today is even more special as we're celebrating the International Women's Day. In the Women's Month, our guest is a fire lady doing fire things, and trust me, she is definitely the next person that's gonna blow up. So please help me welcome Claudia.
Good night. Hi, good night.
Hi Claudia, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I'm really looking forward to this episode. Like every time I was going through your work, I'm like, woo, this is a fire person. Fire content, fire things, and I am really interested in knowing why really did you start the journey. I don't know if I should call it a journey or the profession. Yeah, you tell me.
I prefer calling it a journey, it sounds more friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and more especially because it was a journey in my life. Yeah, quite a journey.
Mm-hmm. Why the journey?
Wow. I had an existential crisis, I like to put it like that.
Okay.
I had questions like, why am I alive? What is my purpose in life? What can I contribute on earth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's how you found the journey.
That is how
I
found the journey. Yes, I wanted to be happy. I was questioning my relationships as well. I wasn't happy with my relationships, with my life.
Yeah.
So with those questions, I wanted to find answers.
Yeah, and then it's a crazy way to actually approach it. But then I don't know if this is an appropriate question to ask. Were you not happy? You were not happy?
I wasn't.
You wasn't?
I was sad most of the time.
Yeah.
I was overthinking. I was anxious. Yeah.
So the journey helped you to be happy now. So you're a happy person now?
I am content.
What's the difference?
I think happiness is, in my world, I would say that happiness is something that could be momentarily, based on how I feel at that moment.
Yeah.
But being content is just me, now let's say, being happy about overall my life and life in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how can I be happy? Like, I just need to be content to be happy? Like, I want to understand the formula really. Like, do you have to be content to be happy? Do you have to be happy to be content? How does it go? What works?
Like I said, happiness for me is like something that happens with with moments. I'm reacting to something, you do something for me and then I'm happy, just like you'd be excited, So you can experience things like excitement, even when you aren't necessarily content, And I think the most important thing is contentment.
Okay.
Because the reason why majority of us, I assume, get depressed or experience an existential crisis, it is because we're not content.
Okay.
We might experience these glimpses of happiness, that is why we're even able to fake being happy out there or being okay. So because it's possible to experience happiness there and there, but contentment now, having this stable, orderly, smooth flowing life, even in the face of adversities. Now that's different.
Yeah, I need the whole guide. I don't know if we should do it on the camera, but I need a guide to be content, I guess. Because I don't know. Because I feel like it's really something I've been thinking about. I look at especially people of our age. We have these fits of I don't know if I should call them happiness or excitement, and I'm always worried. Like, usually at the end of that, there is usually sadness, and I'm worried. Like, what's the right formula? What should we do? What do you think?
The first important thing is living life.
Yeah.
Experiencing life. And understanding that as you experience life, you will experience sadness. But the problem is that we attach now to the emotions that we have, most of us, You experience happiness and you want to be happy all the time. You experience sadness and then you attach to that sadness. And you need to understand that those feelings, those emotions need to come and go. Eckhart Tolle talks about being translucent, Pretend that you're translucent. And when the emotion comes, allow it to come. It's a response from what is happening, probably internally or externally. Allow it to give you that feedback. Something happened and it's making you happy. That's okay. Something happened and it's making you sad. That's okay. Get that feedback and get how it is supposed to improve your life. And then after that, release. Let it go. Let it pass through. All right? And then wait for the other emotion. Wait for the other feeling to come through. Because once you attach to this emotion, now growth isn't going to happen. Because you're attached to this emotion, you're stuck in it, you're not growing. But the growth is going to happen if you allow these emotions to just come and go and have a cycle of them again and again.
I actually realized I've been too excited about jumping into this conversation, and I didn't give you an opportunity to introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I've been momentarily happy.
And see, the whole growth now is not happening because you're stuck on this happiness.
Yeah, I'm just stuck on. Please, let's get Boana talking. We need to let the people hear about this. Yeah, but please, you just do like a quick intro so that our audience know you. Yeah.
Okay, stars. My name is Claudia Boana. I am a self-development coach. I was doing agriculture, but I'm taking this journey right now, and I'm sharing it with Kudzai because he's gathering all the stars,
Yeah, exactly.
And interviewing them.
Exactly, which is interesting, like the evolution from agriculture to you becoming a
self-development.
Yeah, exactly. It's really interesting, and I feel like I don't know if I should say it's tied to one's purpose, that our professions might not be tied to our purpose. The things that we start doing at school might not be aligned with our purpose. So finding your purpose is not something that you should be scared of, and when you find it, taking the leap, say, okay, this is what I'm doing. And I think that's fire, which makes me wonder, like, how your family took it, like you dumping, I don't know if you dumped it totally, but you're dumping agriculture and taking this journey.
This is the interesting part. I was very reluctant to even come out to society about me having an interest in self-development. But you do something long enough, you believe in it yourself, the rest of the world is going to believe in it. You know, there's a self-development coach that I follow closely, Simon Alexander Ong, and he was talking about the fact that we have to sell to ourselves before we sell to others. So the first person that I had to sell to was myself, you know, and then I was able to then sell to my family and the rest of the world. And I'm really happy to say that I think my family has been supportive in my journey. Everyone who's in my life has been supportive, saying, take the shot and see how it comes out.
No, that's really interesting because not all of us out there get the support. I'm also privileged to have the support from my family because I think I've made some really risky decisions in my
Of course, it is always risky.
Yeah, it's a really risky decision. But yeah, I do have a supportive family and I really appreciate that as well. But then speaking of your background, would you say it contributed to you taking the journey, like the way you were raised? Did it help you in any way in finding this journey that you're taking?
Yeah, most psychologists talk about the fact that we are shaped by our childhood experiences, and I couldn't agree more. Like I talked about my relationships really failing me, questioning my purpose in life. It was because I didn't feel wanted anywhere.
Yeah,
you know, I didn't feel loved. Biggest of all, I was concerned about my relationship with my siblings, and I feel like I didn't have them the way I wanted to have them as best friends. You know, I wanted to talk about things with them. I wanted to share activities with them. And each time I felt pushed away, I then said, if they don't accept me, is the rest of the world going to accept me?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and we were having a fallout with my mom at some point. We were close at one point, and then at one point we were not close. And you know, when I create relationships out there, I don't really feel like I belong. I don't really feel like I fit in. You know, so all of those childhood experiences did shape who I am eventually. Yeah, that's how I see it.
It's really interesting. I really want to know, how did you do it? How did you, especially the siblings? I think sometimes I feel like that. Okay, we are pretty close with my siblings, but I feel like we could be more closer. I want to have that. I think we had this just before when we were talking about the relationship between, you know, guy friends and girlfriends. Like, that's another thing with siblings. I feel like, you know, we should be tight. Like, okay, are you tight now? Maybe that's the first question.
No, we are not.
We are not. But are you getting there?
We are not.
Okay, so how can we navigate?
Yeah.
Well, what's the way forward?
Yeah, and I hope answering this, it also is able to portray the difference between happiness and contentment, you know, because you'd ask yourself, then how are you content now if you're still not best friends with them, you know? And that's the whole understanding of life, you know, that you have to be content even if things don't go your way. One of the things that I realized is that just because we are siblings, it doesn't mean that we have to be friends. They are different individuals with different identities, with different interests, different hobbies, different lifestyles, and we are at different levels at experiencing life as well. There's like a 10-year difference between I and my siblings, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's huge.
They're just different people. The only thing we have in common is having common parents, you know? So understanding that and respecting that, now I created my own way of loving them.
Yeah.
And I probably assume that they love me their own way, you know? I would like to believe that in the meantime. So I also realized that, okay, since I'm not best friends with my siblings, I can be able to create my own best friends, my own siblings. And this is one of the things that my mother is always supporting me on, that, you know, sometimes family members are the ones that you're going to choose out there. And just because you chose them, it doesn't make them less important. They are equally important, and they do become your family. You know, they are going to have your back. They are going to understand you. They are going to respect you. You're going to have that family relationship with them as much as you would with your blood relatives.
No, this is changing my perspective right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's the crazy
It's
thing
crazy.
about the whole self-development journey. It's you'd expect that when I started it, I thought it would be more about my siblings changing and become what I want them to be.
Yeah.
Everybody changing and becoming what I want them to be. But it's more about you changing yourself,
Yes.
for you to live this meaningful life, this content life. And doing that might mean accepting other people as they are rather than trying to change them.
Yeah, this is fire. This is crazy because it comes back to what you're talking about, is being content. And I feel like that's where we miss it. We are not content and we go around looking for quick fixes to the problems, but they are not going to go away.
Yeah.
So just be content and move on.
And move on. And it's also because we are looking for all these external things to make us feel good.
Yeah.
When feeling good is an individual thing.
Yeah.
Really, it's a personal thing. Yeah.
Interesting. How do I make myself feel good?
First of all is understanding your purpose in life.
Yeah.
You really need to understand why are you here. Find your purpose in life. You need to live a meaningful life. Have a good relationship with your mind, with nature itself, and with other people.
Those are the steps to feeling good.
Yeah.
Fire. Anyway, I was reading one of your your posts recently, and it talked about depression, and I feel like it's a whole pandemic out there. And from your quote, I realized that we might actually be not understanding what depression really is and what we are really going through. Can you just please? This is important, people. You have to, if you are listening to something, pause and listen to Claudia about this part about depression. Please, Claudia, can you explain what depression is?
All right. Actually in my journey, I diagnosed myself as depressed. But the question still is, was I really depressed? Because I never got clinically depressed. But why did I diagnose myself with depressed? I look at all the symptoms that are defined by doctors or medically defined for a person to be depressed. And this could be recurring periods or incessant feelings of sadness. You lose interest in things that you liked doing before and hobbies. You might isolate yourself. You might feel like you don't find meaning in life. You just keep on asking yourself, what is the meaning of life? But mostly it is centered around feelings of sadness. And these feelings of sadness, they affect your entire life. Your relationships can affect your appetite, your activities, so much that you literally don't have energy at times, and you don't have appetite, you don't have the zeal to live, you don't find anything interesting. But there are people that are depressed and they show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they show up, they're doing a lot of work, they are producing the results, but now the question is, how do they feel? The question of, do they feel good about themselves? Do they feel like they belong somewhere? Now, when all of these other important things are lacking and you don't feel as good about life and yourself, I think you could be depressed as well. How do we then know that they are depressed? You find that now those people are even harming themselves, or substance abuse. They abuse drugs, alcohol, or they have these addictions, like sex, like drugs, like social media, porn and all of those things. So all of this could be symptoms that there is a problem. I want viewers to understand that being sad alone doesn't mean that you're depressed. That is why it is not advisable to keep on using these words, trauma, depressed, because it could cause a misconception. That is why I normally advise that rather use words that describe how you feel at that time. And let's leave these words for the doctors, Yeah. So how did I think I was depressed? I didn't have any interest. I had suicidal thoughts. I actually was harming myself, and I wasn't eating good food. I wasn't spending time with people. I isolated myself. I wasn't cleaning my space. I would keep the windows shut and I'm alone the whole day. So we can see depression now around the activities of those person that, you're behaving like a depressed person.
Interesting. It's really powerful, and I love the way you put it. The difference between being sad and being depressed, and it leads me to my next question. I was having a conversation with one of my fire friends. I'm definitely gonna bring him here. So we were talking about depression as well.
Yeah.
And my point was, okay, maybe it's even sadness. My point was, we are feeding ourselves negative energy, like what we're consuming, or what we are watching. So, all the things around us, they are about sadness. So we end up being sad or depressed. So I do not consume those things. Like, I'm really careful of the things I watch. Even the music that I listen to, I will be listening to let's say I've downloaded like an whole album. Mm-hmm. I'm listening to it, and then I'm listening to the lyrics. I realize, no, this is a negative song. He's talking about killing himself, and I'm like, what's this gonna take me to? I delete it instantly. Mm-hmm. I'm watching WhatsApp statuses. I see someone posting something that's negative. I immediately mute. Mm-hmm. So we're having that conversation because I don't want to give someone a second chance to depress me.
Yeah.
So, and then you said, maybe it's not a bad thing. It's we are supposed to experience all those emotions. And I was like, nah, I'm not. I don't know what you think about that.
Well, I would agree with him, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would agree with the both of you, actually.
Yeah.
It's a good practice that you have. Eckhart Tolle talks about the fact that pain needs pain to survive. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pain needs pain to grow. And also, he talks about that anything you put your consciousness on, so let's use the word focus, mm-hmm. anything you put your focus on grows. So you really want to be careful about what you put your focus on. But at the same time, he's right when he says that we need to experience all of those emotions, because the first question is, why do they exist? Mm-hmm. They are for us to experience. In fact, it is because of these experiences that now humans were able to even create solutions. They were able to be creative. They were able to ask themselves questions like, what is my purpose in life? And then they actually go on the quest to find their purpose in life. And that is how geniuses were birthed into the universe, So I can say they are equally important. Something that was very, very important in my entire journey was balance. I would bring the word balance a lot. Mm-hmm. Life is about balance. I think we don't necessarily have to discard everything, but it's just about being able to balance things. One of the things that Stoicism is about, one of its virtues is moderation. We just need to be able to moderate everything. Even anger is not an entirely negative emotion, but like I said, it's dwelling on those things. It's attaching to those things now that is a negative experience.
Fire answer. Yo, this is crazy. This is so crazy. But anyway, while we're letting people, please do share this video. You can see how important it is. And I really feel like a lot of us struggle with this issue of depression and sadness. So please, if you know that it can help anyone, just share the video so that they can be able to watch it and get these fire thoughts from Claudia. Another important question I was it was in my head, and you said something that you had meditated upon a jog, and you ended up doing it.
Yeah.
And as one person that has struggled to meditate, like I have been trying, I try to sit down, and my mind is moving at like 240 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
I can't. And recently someone was saying, you have to silence your thoughts. I'm like, nigga, even when I'm sleeping,
Yeah.
Recently I started experiencing this crazy real like dream. And it's crazy. I shared it with my friend. Like I just had this almost. I felt like I was awake, but I was sleeping. And when I'm awake, I'm like, what just happened? It's crazy. So how do you? This is a two-part question. The first part is the meditation part. Like how does one person like me meditate? And then another interesting part is about you meditating upon a jog, and that helped you accomplish it. So that's the second part of the question. Like, how do you do that? Is it a method that we have to do often if you want to do something? Like you meditate upon it and then you do it. So those are the please remember to answer both. Let's go.
Oh, please, if I don't answer them both, remind me.
I will do that. I'll do that.
And because those are actually beautiful questions, and I really appreciate that you asked that, because one of my mandates is introducing a culture of meditations in this country. But first, I'd like to ask as well, would you mind to share with us your experience with attempting to meditate?
Attempting to meditate.
I'm more keen on what is happening in your mind.
In my mind.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, I'm watching a YouTube video and they're talking about meditation, about how it's gonna help you, be more productive. So I'm like, let me try it. So I wake up early, or before I sleep, I sit down and I'm like, I want to calm this. Like my mind moves like crazy. Like on a daily basis, it's moving. Even when you're talking right now, it's going crazy. Even when it's crazy, just like that. So I'm like, no, let me calm down and just slow down and just appreciate. I don't know if I should say nature, because I'm sitting in my bedroom. So I'm like, I just want to calm down for a second. That's the whole motivation. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. I just want to calm down. I just want to slow down and stop thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you try to calm down, your mind keeps thinking.
Yeah, it does not stop.
They're just thoughts.
Yeah.
We should have an individual session, because I'm keen to know what are those thoughts.
Yeah.
That don't wanna settle.
Maybe they shouldn't be on the camera.
But thank you for sharing with us. It's a good thing that when you start meditations, you have a goal. You want to calm your mind. That is called intent. That's another important thing when you're on your journey, being intentional. Not even a journey, anything you do, be intentional about it. But then, with anything that you do, be it a goal or whatever, you know that I want to achieve this. But the important thing is enjoying the process of doing it, So you're meditating, you know that you wanna be calm. But why aren't you interested to know what your mind has to say the whole time? Listen to it. It's trying to communicate with you. Like I said, even with the emotions are there to communicate with you. Your body communicates with you. Your mind communicates with you. Nature communicates with you. Why don't you want to pause for a minute and be attentive to that?
So I should be attentive to my thoughts, the ones that I want to slow down?
Yeah, listen to them.
Yeah?
Listen to them. And honestly, meditations are just about pausing and paying attention.
You see, the thing is, sometimes I don't know if this is a me thing, but sometimes I'll be saying I want to go to sleep, right? I go in my blankets, I close my eyes, or it starts.
And then it starts.
It's going, it does not stop. So maybe it's, let's say we're working on a project. So my mind is trying to find a solution. Now I can't sleep. Then I have to wake up now. I have these moments many times. I have to wake up and I now start working like, I start typing what I'm thinking. I'm okay, let's go. And then when we're done, I'm like, oh, okay, we're done now. Then I go to sleep.
that's a very good practice, because then it means you're able to release whatever is in your mind, and meditations would actually be good for you, because you say you have all of this thinking process before you go to bed. So do listen to your mind. You have to practice listening to it. When it keeps on switching those thoughts every second, listen to it to a point whereby it knows that when I have to speak something, I get listened to. I also used to be anxious. I also used to overthink a lot. I was very pessimistic. And the first time that I sat for a meditation, it was like, girl, what are you trying to do? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And, I've been called a coconut a lot, because it's a white people thing, So it was like, okay, you're trying to be a white person. And I kept on sitting, and you just need to sit long enough, listen to your mind, end the session, and then you go back next time and communicate with it first. Tell it, prepare it that, we're going to try a meditation and we want to practice calming ourselves. I call the mind a human entity as well. It's an adult, respect it. So tell it that we're going to practice calming ourselves today. Sit again in one position. Close your eyes. Listen to it until you're familiar with your thoughts. You're familiar with how you think. And then you're going to start teaching it now. It's going to start calming down, and then you're going to start teaching it. You must allow it to get used that you are the one who makes the commands. Because for now, it's actually the one that is making the commands. It's talking all the time, and you're just running around like a headless chicken.
Exactly.
So you need to teach it to listen to you. But you have to introduce this slowly, just like you would when you're educating a child, So you introduce it slowly. You tell it that, okay, today I'm going to listen to you speak for a moment, but we're going to cut this conversation short, and then we're going to focus on breath work. So when you start, it's going to be like, okay, you're sitting in one position now. That's the mind. All right, you're closing your eyes.
How's it going to help?
Your foot, is it going to help? This position, the sitting position is actually uncomfortable. And when it says that, tell it that, but we need to learn how to sit like this. We need to learn. So do give it a reply. When it says something that is going to demotivate you, give it a reply nicely. Don't fight it, Must let it know that you're educated. It can trust you. It can trust your opinions and your suggestions. So listen to it, reply, and then tell it, let's focus on the breath. You're going to focus on the breath for a couple of seconds, and the attention span is
you just
short.
reminded me, sorry. I was trying to do the breathing exercise.
Yeah.
You see, they say you count to 100. I think I was reaching to 5 every time.
Yeah. So that is okay. The attention span is short, but one of the things that meditations are going to teach you is to increase your attention span. So you're going to breathe, have 3 breaths, and then again, it's back at, you actually have to have a conversation with dad about this. Do you remember you don't even have a girlfriend? You need to start talking to girls and go back, remind it. Okay, we're going to have that conversation. Let's focus back on the breath. You just keep on doing that. And whatever you do long enough, you become good at it. So practice it long enough. You're going to become good at it. I don't want to make this session about meditations, because we'd have an entire conversations on meditations. There's a lot to say. About how can you become good at them. And then the other question was about
meditating upon an activity that you want to do.
Yes. So on that jog, I haven't been able to establish a routine for this year. So I realized that, this is how you lose track. And I decided to meditate on it. So once you've mastered the meditations, being able to calm your mind, now you're able to meditate upon something, being intentional about that meditation. Sometimes I'm able to realize that you're starting to be negative, you're starting to overthink. Then today, it's just a day to listening to the mind. what is worrying me. That's my intention for that meditation. I want to find out what is worrying me. Sometimes I want to find a solution. So when I want to find a solution about something, that's the day we practice stillness. Because when the mind is optimally relaxed, you are able to have access to the upper part of your brain, which is the cortex. Now, the cortex is the one that is able to tell the difference in time, that is able to be creative and plan. So you find that most times after that meditation, immediately after that meditation, I'll start having ideas and the solutions. Mm-hmm. So now when I want to do something, I just make that meditation about that. So I do the breathing practices, but my thoughts are about affirming. So I basically plan whatever I want to do in this relaxation mode. I'm breathing. Tomorrow, I will go for a jog. I'm affirming. I will go for a jog. We're instilling it in my subconscious that this will happen and we don't have excuses for it. I will go for a jog. I will wake up at 5 a.m. I will go for a jog. That is what I'm saying in my head. And it can even go to the extent whereby I'm planning my entire day, And you need to assist yourself because right after that meditation, I put the jogging clothes on the side. So you even create the environment for yourself to be motivated to do whatever it is that you want to do. So sometimes I would even meditate on being disciplined. When I move from here, I'm going to go cook. I'm going to set out laundry. I'm going to do this. So do meditate. And then immediately after the meditation, I do those things.
Fire.
And this is the funny thing. After that meditation, so the meditations just keep proving to me how much they work. You'd normally have a challenge waking up at 5 a.m., maybe, if you're not used to it. But after having that meditation, my alarm rang once. I switched it off and I literally got out of bed. I wasn't even feeling sleepy. My body was just ready to go for a jog. I dressed up. I left. I had an amazing jog. I came back 6 a.m. and I was ready for the day. My body, my mind assisted it because we planned it. We discussed it. We have to do this. And we discussed even why is it good for me to do this? It's good for my mind. It's good for my body. So your mind even understands why it is important to do this. And then it just follows through.
I'm going to be a fire person from this day.
Please, you gotta.
They don't know what's coming. They don't know what's coming.
You gotta. And I also want to say this, that to all people who follow Real Talk with Claudia, I'd be disappointed to find out that they're not practicing any sort of routine, because that is the whole point. You gotta show that you follow Real Talk with Claudia.
Well, I think I can be excused because I've started following it recently. I've started following it recently, but it's been fire talking with you. I wish we were not limited with time so that we can dive in deeper and deeper, because I have a lot of questions right now that have been, like I told you, my mind is always working 24/7. So it's been crazy listening to you. But if people want to hear more about this, where can they find you?
On Instagram, I am Claudia Boana. In fact, on all my social media platforms, I'm Claudia Boana. So you can just go search up and follow me. And probably at some point, I'm going to start sharing my email as well. All
right. I'm going to put the link somewhere there. They will see it on the screen.
Yeah.
So that, because it's fire listening to you. Even our pre-conversation out there, it was crazy. That's why I was always like, please.
Yeah, and please let me mention that you are quite an interesting person as well.
Yeah.
You started talking about African history, and I agree on that. It's so important for us to know about our history, because I believe knowing about your roots, it just helps you understand yourself better as well. So I was there like minds. You're quite an interesting person, and I actually wanted to ask, do you read?
Wow. I read a lot.
You read a lot?
I read a lot. I have this habit of reading 4 hours a day.
Wow.
That's aside from me reading in the Kumbi.
Okay.
I've my mentor said this thing, like this quote. He said, These are his words. I actually wrote it down.
Okay.
He said, a man who reads carries not only his thoughts, but the thoughts of all the people that he has, like the books that he has read.
Yeah.
So when it comes to decision making, it's not only Kudzai, it's Kudzai
and all these other
all the
geniuses.
authors.
Yeah.
All the geniuses. So every day I'm trying to read. So I have actually different categories like that I want to know about, and then I have I don't know how many books in my laptop. So I'm consuming data. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is something that is very important. You know, no matter how much Claudia can speak, no matter how much Claudia can try and go out there and help people with depression, and self-development, but one thing that people need to understand is that I think most of it is centered around reading. And we're lazy to read.
Yeah,
you don't even want to read a long post on Facebook, but you're ready to read gossip. And there's a reason why you're ready to do that.
Yeah.
And we're going to share it some other day. But reading is so important when it comes to adding knowledge, when it comes to dealing with this depression, when it comes to even being proactive in your life. You know, reading is going to aid so much. So please, keep spreading the word about reading. I hope everybody at some point is motivated to read.
I think, as we grow, I started the Telegram community, by the way. Please check the link. I think we should start a reading culture with the people that are following this, because it's really important that you read. For example, we're just talking about African history. The history that people know is the history that's in textbooks, because that's the history. That's what they were forced to read.
Yeah, forced.
They didn't even like reading, so they were forced to read it, and that's all they know. But there's so much beautiful history about Africa that one you have now to go and look. Not only and those books you can't download some of them, so you have to go and look for. So it's so much work. So people are like, I'm not gonna start doing that.
Yeah, and unfortunately we are like about most things in life.
Yeah.
You know, anything that is gonna be good for us, we're just reluctant to do, and I don't understand how do we expect ourselves to be happy then.
Yeah, it's fire. I see we are going more and more.
We're going deeper.
Yeah. I guess we just have to do another one.
Yeah, we have to do another one and theme it. It should be themed.
It should be themed. Eh? Maybe it should be on Real Talk now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been fire listening to you. Like, it's crazy. I really have learned a lot, and like I told you, I'm gonna be fire from this day. This meditation thing, I'm gonna put it into practice, and hopefully I'll be sharing the journey on my social media pages. Then it's crazy. Thank you very much for coming. People, please do like and share. I'm gonna put Claudia's handles right there. Do follow her. She's gonna help you a lot. And I mean, this is like only like 30 minutes, and the knowledge is like crazy. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, peace.